Hello everyone, myself J. Vinay Kumar. Today, the subject which we are going to learn is DC machines and batteries. In the previous class, we have already learned about the necessity of speed control of DC motors and the possibility of speed control of a DC shunt motor, and we have also already learned about the flux control method of speed control for a DC shunt motor, and the armature control method of speed control for a DC shunt motor, and the various advantages and disadvantages of flux control method of speed control of a DC shunt motor. We have also already learned the various advantages and disadvantages of armature control method. In this presentation, we are going to learn about the multiple voltage control method of speed control for a DC shunt motor, and also we will be learning about the word Leonard method of speed control for a DC shunt motor, and also we will be learning the advantages and disadvantages of what Leonard method of speed control for a DC shunt motor, and we'll be solving some problems on flux control method for a DC shunt motor, and also we will be solving some problems on armature control method of speed control for a DC shunt motor. Now let us see the voltage control method. In this voltage control method, there are two types by which we can control the voltage applied to the DC shunt motor. That the first one is the multiple voltage control method, and the second one is the word Leonard system of speed control. Let us see the first one, that is the multiple voltage control method. The shunt motors, here the shunt field winding is connected permanently to a fixed exciting voltage, and here the armature of a DC shunt motor is supplied with different voltages by using switch gears, and the speed of this shunt motor will be varied by applying different voltages to the armature, and this method is very rarely used. Now let us see the next one, that is the Ward Leonard system of speed control. Here we can see totally there are three machines. This is first one, this is the second one, and this is the third one. Here this is the motor, this is the generator, and this is another motor. Here we are controlling the speed of this motor, the last motor. For this motor, the supply is given from this generator. The supply of this generator can be varied by using a potential divider A, B, C, and this motor is used to run this generator. Means here this motor is coupled to this generator. This motor shaft is coupled to the shaft of the generator. Means so this motor runs this generator, and the supply for this motor is given by some external means, and the speed of this motor can be varied by connecting a rheostat in the field circuit. Here the speed control of DC motor can be done by this Ward Leonard method. In this system, it eliminates the disadvantages and disadvantages of flux control method, and also the armature control method. Here the speed of the main motor is controlled by varying the input voltage to the main motor supplied by a DC generator. The generator mechanical input is given by prime mover of DC motor. The generator output can be varied from 0 to its rated value by varying its field current through the potential divider ABC. The field of the main motor is connected permanently to a DC supply, and by reversing the direction of the generator field current by means of potential divider, the speed of the motor can be varied from its maximum rated value in one direction to the maximum value in the reverse direction. Now let us see the advantages of this Ward-Leonard method. Here, no armature series resistance and no stability in the motor speed with variable load, and a wide range of speeds can be achieved, and with smooth variation can be done. The speed of the motor can be reduced quickly by reducing the field of the generator. There is unlimited speed control in either direction of rotation. The disadvantages of this Ward-Leonard method is, since we are moving using three identical machines, the initial expenses will be more, and low overall efficiency, especially at light loads. And the applications of this method is in colliery winders and in elevators. Means in company like Singareni Collieries, there they use this Ward-Leonard method for transporting that is to transport the men from surface area to the workplace. Now let us see the various problems on the speed control. The first problem is a 500-volt shunt motor runs at its normal speed of 250 rpm when the armature current is 200 amperes. The resistance of the armature is 0.12 ohm. Calculate the speed when a resistance is inserted in the field, reducing the shunt field to 80% of normal value, and the armature current is 100 amperes. Now let us see the solution. The given data is the input voltage is given as 500 volts and the rated speed represented by N1 is given as 250 rpm, and the armature current IA1 is given as 200 amperes, and the resistance of the armature is given as 0.12 ohms. This is represented by REA. And now the normal flux phi1 is equal to phi. Here we are inserting another resistance. After inserting that resistance, the flux has reduced to 80%. So the flux phi2 is equal to 0.8 phi, and the armature current after insertion of resistance in field represented as IA2 is equal to 100 amperes. And the secondary speed we have to find, it will be represented as N2. We know that the back EMF EB1 is equal to V minus IA1 or EA. From this formula we can find EB1. On substituting the above given values, we get 500 minus 200 into 0.12. We get 476 volts. And to find EB2, we substitute the values of V, Ia2 and Ra. Then 500 minus 100 into 0.12, we get EB2 as 488 volts. And we know that from the back EMF equation, EB is equal to 5ZNP by 60A. We can write as N2 by N1 is equal to EB2 by EB1 into phi 1 by phi 2. Here we already know the value of N1, EB2, EB1, phi 1 and also phi 2. If we substitute all those values in this equation, we get N2 by 250 is equal to 488 by 476 into phi 1 by 0.851. Phi 1 gets cancelled, and on solving this, we get the value of N2 as 320.4 rpm. Now let us see the next problem. A 230 volt DC shunt motor runs at 800 rpm and takes an armature current of 50 amperes. Find what resistance must be added to the field circuit to increase the speed to 1000 rpm at an armature current of 80 amperes. The armature field resistance are 0.15 ohms and 250 ohms respectively. Assume flux is proportional to field current. Before going to the solution, once we have to study the problem thoroughly, and we have to know what is the given data and what we have to find and which formulas must be used. Now let us go to the solution. Here the given data is the supply voltage represented by V is given as 230 volts. The first speed represented as N1 is given as 800 rpm, and the first armature current IA1 is 50 amperes, and the second speed given as N2 is equal to 100 rpm, and the second armature current represented as IA2 is equal to 80 amperes, and the armature resistance RA is given as 0.15 ohms, and the field resistance represented by RSH is equal to 250 ohms, and also given that the flux is directly proportional to the field current, and we know that the formula for back EMF EB is equal to 5ZNP by 60A. From that formula, we can write as N2 by N1 is equal to EB2 by EB1 into phi 1 by phi 2. But here it is given that the flux is directly proportional to field current, so we can replace phi 1 by ISH1 and phi 2 by ISH2, and to find the value of EB, we also already know that EB is equal to V minus IA, RA. From that, to find the first back EMF, EB1 is equal to V minus IA1 RA. Already we know the values, that is for V, IA1 and RA. On substituting those values, we get 230 minus 50 into 0.15, which is equal to 222.5 volt. And now we will find the value of the second back EMF, that is EB2. EB2 is equal to V minus IA2 RA. We substitute the various values, we get 230 minus 80 into 0.15. We get the answer as 218 volts. This is nothing but this is the EB2 value. And let the total shunt resistance RT is equal to 250 plus R, where R is the inserted resistance. Before insertion of this resistance, the value of ISH1 is equal to 230 by 250 is equal to 0.92 amperes. After insertion of this additional resistance, the value of ISH2 is equal to 230 by RT. And we know that N2 by N1 is equal to EB2 by EB1 into ISH1 by ISH2. After substitution of these values, that is 1000 by 800 is equal to 218 by 222.5 into 0.92 by 250 plus R. On solving this, we get the value of RT as 319 ohms. From that, to know the additional resistance inserted, R is equal to 319 minus 250 ohms, we get 69 ohms. Means this is the additional resistance which we have inserted in the circuit to get the speed N2. Now let us see the next problem. A 200-volt DC shunt motor running at 1000 RPM takes an armature current of 17.5 amps. It is required to reduce the speed to 600 RPM. What resistance must be inserted in the armature circuit? If the original armature resistance is 0.4 ohms, assume the armature current is constant during the process. Now let us solve this. First we will be writing the given data. The voltage V is given as 220. In the question, please change it as 220 volts. And the speed, initial speed, that is N1, is given as 1000 RPM. And the initial armature current IA1 is equal to 17.5 amperes. And this IA1 value is equal to IA2 because in the problem it is given that the armature current is constant during the process. So IA1 is equal to IA2 is equal to 17.5 amperes. And the second speed, that is N2, is given as 600 RPM. And the armature resistance is given as 0.4 ohms. And we have to find the additional inserted resistance. And here we know the formula for back EMF, that is EB is equal to V minus IaRa. So to find the initial back EMF EB1, the formula can be written as V minus Ia1 Ra. On substituting the above values, we get 200 minus 17.5 into zero point 0.4. We get the answer as 193 volts and let RT is the total armature resistance. We write EB2 is equal to V minus IA2 RT. On substituting the other values which we have already known, we get 200 minus 17.5 into RT. Since the ISH value remains constant, the flux will be constant. So phi 1 is equal to phi 2. So from the back EMF equation, EB is equal to phi Z NP by 60A, we can write as N2 minus N1 is equal to EB2 by EB1. If we substitute the values, we get EB2. 600 by 1000 is equal to 200 minus 17.5 RT by 193. On solving this, we get the value of RT. RT is nothing but it is the total armature resistance. To get the additional inserted resistance, we have to subtract the armature resistance from the total resistance, which is equal to 4.8 minus 0.4. We get the answer as 4.4 ohms. This problem solve on your own. I will be skipping this as the time is less. I am skipping this. From this presentation, we have learned about the multiple voltage control method of speed control for a DC shunt motor, and also we have learned about the Ward Leonard method of speed control for a DC shunt motor and the advantages and disadvantages of it, and we have solved problems on flux control method of speed control for DC shunt motor, and also solved some problems on armature control method of speed control for a DC shunt motor. Now let us see a small quiz on this presentation. First question is, in multiple voltage method of speed control to the shunt motor, the voltage of dash winding is varied. Option A is shunt field winding. Option B is armature winding. Option C is series winding. Option D is none. Yes, the answer is shunt field winding. To change the voltage, we have to change the voltage of shunt field winding. Second one is regarding the word Leonard system of speed control. Which statement is false? Option A, it is usually used where wide and very sensitive speed control is required. B, it is used for motors having rating from 750 kilowatt to 4000 kilowatt. Capital outlay involved in the system is right since it uses two extra machines. Option D is it gives a speed range of 10 is to 1 but in 1. The answer is it gives a speed range of 10 is to 1 but in one direction only. It gives it can be varied in both directions. The third one, the chief advantage of Ward Leonard system of DC motor speed control is that if option A can be used even for small motors, option B has high overall efficiency at all speeds, option C gives smooth, sensitive, and wide speed control, option D uses a flywheel to reduce fluctuation in power demand. As the answer is gives smooth, sensitive, and wide speed control. The fourth question is the word Leonard method of speed control is not recommended for wide speed range, constant speed operation, frequent speed reversals, D very low speeds, as it is not recommended for frequent speed reversals. Thank you very much for listening with